STPL. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for our second match of today. It's going to be aSh and ReV fighting against each other. Just a quick look at the format as always, just so anyone new to the STPL, if they're watching the VODs or if you're watching live, you understand how it works. You'll note that the instructions are in Korean and English. That's because we do have a lot of Korean players in the tournament, and also I know there's a lot of Korean people who do actually tune in, so Castamuse, I believe, is going to be casting a little bit more in Korean too, so that should be kind of cool. But let's have a look at... Oh, let's actually quickly head over here quickly. One thing I want to say, just before we get going, is a massive thank you to our sponsors, Liquipedia and Esport Fund, both of which have given us $500 towards the initial prize pool, and just overall, really cool series. What the hell am I going on about? I am losing it. I'm nearly 3 hours in, so I'm kind of going a bit crazy. I don't need to shave. I maybe need to trim my beard a little bit, but I like my beard, so I'm not going to do that. I'm also in quarantine. I'm not going anywhere for like ages, so it's all good. But that's it. Let's have a look at both of our teams. Starting us off here for... starting us off here for our second match is going to be aSh. Now, aSh is a pretty good team. I would like to call aSh the Comeback Kids if I gave them a nickname, because in Season 1, they played all 15 months of Season 1, which is ridiculous. That's a story for another time. But they didn't ever really do anything. Like, they had massive activity problems, they gave a load of walkovers, and then came round 4 of Season 1, and one man took over Dentag, managed to reign control over the STPL side of things for Team aSh, and he pulled things around a little bit. He got a lot of players involved, one of which is Hit-em-up, who's going to be playing today. And from there, Hit-em-up also helped with other players. So now aSh is actually one of our bigger rosters. They have some very good players, a lot of them really old school as well. And this is actually Essin from Nice, not Enik, despite what was sent to me. But it is actually Essin, so I'll need to fix his name at another time. It's all good. Their opponents going to be Revolution, or Clan Revolution, ReV for short. Now, ReV have got a glaring, trying to think of the right word, but a glaring absence in their roster. They unfortunately do not have Avalov anymore. Avalov has retired from tournament play in Brood War. He has, however, been replaced by Sugo, Sugo being one of the ringers for Naz last season, doing really well. So now it's going to be Sugo and Sugo and Medinho really shoring up the team at the top end, and it looks like we've got Narsil and Hienru here as well to kind of help out, so that's going to be pretty good. Let's have a look at the matches we're going to be seeing today. So to start us off here, we're going to go in from... We're going to have a PvP between Dreamer and Sugo. We're going to have a TBT between Hitmob and Medinio. We're going to have a PvP between Hades and Narsil. And then we're going to have a ZVZ between Essen and Hirmu. Now, I've got an interesting story about Essen when we get there. But pretty sick. Looking forward to it very, very much. But let's have a look at our players. Starting us off here for aSh is going to be Dreamer. Dreamer, pretty good player on aSh. Started off on MSJ when they joined the league in Season 1. Didn't last the full round though, and they did actually drop out. But Dreamer stayed in, joined aSh, and has done a very, very good job for them since. He's actually won a lot of his last 10 games. He's actually 50% win rate recently, but he does have a 54% win rate against Protoss, and that's over 11 games. Which is pretty good. So looking forward to seeing how he's going to play this one out. His opponent is going to be Sugo. Sugo, a very, very good player for Naz. He's actually got a 70% win rate against Protoss. And I said Naz, didn't I? It's ReV now. Sugo is, like, Naz has disbanded. Sugo's moved on to his new home in ReV, and I think this is definitely going to be a place that will suit him quite well. ReV definitely needed a strong Protoss player. Like, they had Avi, who was a very strong Zerg. They had Medinio, who was a very strong Terran. And CRVT and Narsil both did a pretty good job. And CRVT and Dreamer as well. All of them really quite strong. But Sugo, I mean, Sugo's one of the best Protosses in North America. So, looking forward to seeing how he's going to do. The first map we're going to be hitting onto is Andromeda. I introduced that last series, but we'll have a quick look at the map again. Essentially, Andromeda is a 4-player macro map. One of the maps where you can really kind of accelerate the late game, because you do have a mineral only in your main, which is kind of cool. There is very droppable locations, island base in 12 and 6, and a gas base on 3 and 9 as well. So without further ado, let's get into this PvP on Andromeda between Sugo and Dreamer. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom right hand corner in the blue, fighting for ReV, it's Sugo from North America. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be in white, fighting from Russia. It's Dreamer for aSh. Now Sugo, much like a lot of the other American players, I mean, I say American and I really count like all of North America together in this. Like, North American players are very macro orientated. It's very rare that you'll see them go for any crazy cheese. Like, they are possible, they can do it, it's not like they can't, it's that they don't really want to. Like, American Protosses as well are very, very likely to try and take it to the late game, because the longer the game goes on, the stronger they seem to get. Now, this is PvP, and late game in PvP is very interesting, and very hard to get to for the most part. But we do have that base up your ramp, so it's very easy to take a second base, at least to get the additional minerals. Now Sugo is going to scout first. Dreamer is actually opting not to scout at all, playing very, very greedy here. Like, if Sugo, I mean, it's very possible Dreamer is playing to his opponent. Sugo is very unlikely to 2-gate in the middle of the map. Like, I just don't see it happening. I mean, it is possible. I wouldn't write that out of Sugo's arsenal. But it's very, very unlikely. Like, North Americans, they like playing on very standard maps. They don't like crazy maps. I mean, I've tried countless times to get a lot of North American players to play very strange maps in the way that I always do. But when Naz played, they did, but a lot of the other ones didn't. I mean, TT1, I think, played when he played in STPL, only really played on Athena 2, which is basically like Sylphid, but slightly different spawn positions. So I guess it's kind of to be expected. I mean, even when you look at someone like Artosis, he doesn't live in NA anymore, but he was like one of the initial NA players. And even like Idra and Nyokan, like they all just play really, really straight up. Like they're very, very macro orientated. They don't have any really aggressive tendencies, I wouldn't say. Dragon has pretty good... Like, Dragon, if anything, is probably the most aggressive. But even then, when he plays PvZ and CVP, he just plays like super, super standard. Dreamer, in other words, he's kind of different. Like, Dreamer has a mix of styles. Like, I've seen him play aggressive. I've seen him play very macro-orientated. In PvP, I think he's more likely to play a little bit more macro, so I think we could have a pretty long game on our hands here, with neither player really probably wanting to attack each other super fast. I mean, Sugo is going to come in here with a Zealot, but very quickly turn away when he notices there's two. That's actually an interesting decision by Dreamer, by the way, to go for those two Zealots. Usually you would go Zealot into Dragoon, especially given when he got his core. Now, range is actually ahead for Sugo as well, so building that extra Zealot did delay things a little bit. Obviously, it does keep you a little bit safer against a Proxy 2 gate when you don't know what's going on in the middle of the map, so that's definitely important to realize. But looks like both players are going to kind of push out, pull back. The Dragoon's out for both players now, and things are looking pretty normal. As the casts go further in, like especially when I'm solo casting, and I've not casted properly since the STPL Season 2 finals, so my voice isn't used to this again. Like, I'm gonna have to train my voice all over again to try and deal with talking so much. But it looks like we are doing pretty well. Like, neither player really attacking, neither player really doing too much. Robo coming in for both players. Robo actually around the same time. Probably going to be Reavers, could just be 4 observers. Neither player really knows what the other one's doing, so you kind of do have to be wary of DTs. I mean, Dreamer, I have seen him go DTs in PvP before, I think. Obviously, it's been a while since I've seen all of his PvP games, but in the STPL, DT openings are quite common. On this map, maybe I wouldn't say they'll be too common, just given the fact the rush distance is quite far. It's very difficult to get into the main. And especially if you're cross positions on this map, it takes a year to get to your opponent's base. So, not really too sure, like, as we go into Season 3, if we'll see much aggression on this map. This is definitely very much a macro map as things are going. We got 3 gates for Sugo. We've got 2 gates here for Dreamer. Dreamer has gone into an observatory. Sugo went to an observatory as well, going into an extra pylon. And Shad saying in chat that he likes Andromeda, which is good, because I like Andromeda as well. I used to hate playing this on IC Cup though. TVP on this map was so hard back in the day. It seems a little bit better now. Now, sort of people have learned how to play the matchup a little bit better, but TVP was always a struggle here. But PvP, not much going on. I love to focus on the game the best I can, but when you've got a PvP and neither player are attacking each other, it's quite difficult. Yeah, ZVP on this map as Zerg is really, really good. It's so hard to wall this in, and there's so much surface area for Hydras to come in. Oh, this could actually be really good. He's going to be able to snipe the Observer. This is a massive loss early in the game. Obviously, the Observer, not super important because there's no DTs, but it forces another Observer out the Robo, and you're probably going to want to head into Charlotte Reaver, although no, he's just staying on Observers. Oh, the Observer not getting sniped here for Sugo, for Dreamer even. Sugo actually making a little bit of a mistake here, but finally we have an engagement at the front. This is very nice micro from Sugo, pulling back perfectly, not taking any, well, barely any damage. But it looks like the defender's advantage for Dreamer really starting to kick in, more against less now for Sugo. No, Dreamer turning it around, good target firing. By both players, actually. There we go. Looks like, are we going to have a completely even trade? No, it looks like Dreamer is going to get the better end of this, but Sugo continues to rally across the map. He does have more gateways, and Dreamer is going. I think Dreamer built his. I think Dreamer built his Nexus off center. Gonna rebuild it again. There we go. Nexus closer to the gas this time. Oh my God, Sugo's rally point really not helping him out here. He's gonna go in. Turning around does... Oh, this is Dreamer's vision. Wait, what? Oh, he's got an observer in the main. Okay, I'm completely losing it right now. 3 hours into the cast. Everything starts to shut down. Brain. One of the interesting things I found, by the way, and this is more like outside of the game. Like, my temperature actually went up from casting. I don't know how or why. But this happened when I casted the finals as well. Like, it's almost like I get really excited and it just heats my body up. I love the STPL so much, I just get hot. I like burn up inside. I need to drink a lot more water as well while casting, by the way. So if someone in chat wants to remind me to drink water, that would be very good. Okay, we finally have Shuttle Reaver from one of our players. I mean, that was a good engagement. We do have a Robo still here. Okay, so the support bay is done for both players now, but the Reaver from Sugo is very far behind. Now Dreamer is going to use this Robo defensively for now. Not going to push out with the shuttle until he's kind of confirmed what's going on. Sees the natural expansion is coming up. Now, the way this map is laid out, the naturals are quite close to each other. So shuttle drops between the naturals could be very, very good. There we go, getting some more water down me. It's kind of funny, we went from having like the insane first series to this quite slow. I mean, it's methodical, it's slow, both of them are macroing up. PvP. Like, the first PvP we saw was over in like 8 minutes, I think. I mean, this doesn't really have an end in sight anytime soon, so we are definitely going to go the distance here. Both players with Reavers. I think there's actually, yeah, there's a Reaver advantage for Dreamer. This is going to put him in a good position. And the reason why you see both players kind of apprehensive to attack into each other is it's actually really easy to lose the game if you push. Like, attacking in Brood War is one of the hardest things you could do. Now, here we go, the Reaver's going to drop down. You can see Sugo immediately targeting the shuttle, saving the Reaver at the last second. But look at this sandwich coming in from behind. It's a Sugo sandwich here on Dreamer. Dreamer stuck in the middle, but it looks like Sugo's units at the front have fallen. And Dreamer is going to get into the main, but oh, the Reaver falls at the front as well. Could this just be too much? I think this is too much. I think Dreamer's just pushed through, but Sugo getting his units back in. The probes were pulled to defend the ramp, but he holds. Sugo holds. He has a little bit of a supply deficit, but he killed both of the Reavers. He killed the shuttle. Yes, he lost his own, but he holds his natural. That is the most important moment in this game. Sugo definitely doing a great job here. Now Dreamer is getting ready to take a third base over here. Gonna ignore this mineral only. Who cares about minerals? You want gas. You want all the gas in the world. And it's gonna be tough. Like, taking a third base in PvP, it doesn't happen. But then I said that about Pre's game against Pre's game against Dog in Series 1, where in CVZ you just don't get 3 bases and Pre had 4. Like, you just never know what's going to happen in a best of 1 format when you've got 2 relatively even match players as well, like we have done quite a lot today. It leads to really interesting games, and it's why team leagues are just by far the best format. Because if you go for team leagues, you get a major variety of players, you get a great variety of maps, and you see a lot of games every single week. It's the best format. I always love team leagues, and I'm really looking forward to a Freakers team league if they bring that back. But looks like we do have a Citadel coming in here for Dreamer, which is going to allow him to go up to a Templar Archives, which is not going to come in here. He's actually going to build a cannon. We do have the Citadel and Templar Archives coming in down here for Sugo. Dreamer still not taking the third base just yet. Sugo is also getting ready for that third base with a probe up there. Oh, it's actually going to be a third base of the mineral only. Now, Minerals obviously not as impactful as gas in this matchup in the late game because you want a lot of Templar, you want a lot of Archon, and you want a lot of Reavers. But if you get those extra minerals, you can get a lot more gateways, a lot more zealots, and you can get another base relatively fast. So let's see how this is going to go. Dreamer is actually finding himself behind in workers now to Sugo. Sugo, despite losing all of his units, traded very well and has actually continued to build probes, getting ready to expand, and is now ahead in the probe count and supply. Now it looks like Dreamer is not done with this aggression. Pushing as he gets a Nexus, not the best decision. Definitely loses you a few units that you could have otherwise. And looks like he's going to push back in with 2 Reavers. The Reaver at the bottom going to be doing so much damage here for Sugo. The Reavers at the top doing quite a lot of damage as well. But it looks like Sugo just has too much. There was a lot of Zealots here. Oh my god, the Reaver Scarab's going down on the Reaver. This is still looking kind of scary for Sugo. Sugo needs to be careful. The Reaver's going to be doing a ton of damage, but this is going to be a problem. The Reavers, they're going to go down. Speed is not done on the shuttle. The Reaver's going to die. He needs to drop the Reavers. He doesn't drop the Reavers. Oh, that's a bit risky. Sugo is now at a massive advantage, a 30, nearly 40 supply lead. And Sugo just playing incredibly strong defensively. Sugo is a beast in this matchup, and he has proven it. Now the problem is, Dreamer has this Vespene Geyser coming up, and with this Vespene Geyser it means he's going to get more Templar, more Storm, but he has to survive that long. Like, Sugo is going to go in here. Oh my god, if Dreamer faints taking this base, Sugo's going to think he's going to be in a massive advantage. Or is he going to go for the top left? Okay, Sugo's not going to get caught off guard here. He is going to scout properly. He sees it. He knows the base is up there, and he knows where he needs to push. Sugo with his Archons coming in. We don't have any upgrades for Sugo at the moment, actually. There is +1 attack from Dreamer, which should, realistically, help in engagements. But in that last one, it just didn't seem to matter. A DT running in and dying as well. You can't afford to be losing these units as Dreamer. You're already at a supply disadvantage. It's not a good look. Now, +1 attack. Third of the way done. Observer does fall, which is a good thing for Dreamer to have happen. But I mean, Sugo is just so far ahead at this point. He's doing so well. His probe count is very, very healthy. We've got a DT going around the top right-hand side. He's going to be able to cancel this Nexus, which is super important. And there's only, I believe, 1 or 2... Yeah, there's only like 1 or 2 observers on the map here for Sugo. So Sugo needs to be careful. But cannon's coming up. This is going to allow him to stop. He needs to push in. But his attention is being drawn to the left-hand side by Sugo's army. If he loses this base, it's game over. Let's zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to turn off the supplies as well for this engagement. But the Reaver Scarab's going down. The storm, such a massive storm. Everything's standing inside of it. But Sugo's just got so many units. The Reaver's dropping off as well. Dreamer is just plummeting in supply here, as you can see from the amount of units, the devastation coming down. GG, Sugo takes game number 1 for ReV. Well, that was certainly a good game. I think a lot of people would maybe say Sugo is a little bit stronger than Dreamer, and that really showed it. Sugo is so unbelievably solid when he plays properly. Like, when Sugo is in the game, like, I know this sounds really weird. When Sugo is in a position to do really well, like, he does so well. Like, he just knows how to macro up perfectly. It was a little bit of a slow game compared to the first series, but it was still a damn good game. Now, we're going to be heading in to a TBT after this short break, which is going to be Hit 'em Up versus Medinho. Now, if you don't know who Medinho is, the Viking Terran himself at the weekend played against Terra and Dandy in the BSL, 2 best of 3s, and he won both of them. They are 2 of the best Peruvian Terrans. Terra's TBT is on another level to any other foreigner, at least the way I've always viewed it. He beat, I think it was Kogut 5-0 at the... He beat Kogut 5-0 at the Corrupted Cup, and Medinho just comes out. I think he 2-0'd him. It's just like, wow, that's it. Yeah, but it's going to be Logan versus Hit 'em Up when I get back after getting a quick break, or a quick drink, in just a minute. See you guys soon. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 2 between aSh and ReV. It's going to be Hit 'em Up versus Medinho. Hit 'em Up, the current captain of aSh. A really, really good player. He's their star player. Logan, Hit 'em Up, aka Logan. Really, really good at the game. He's top 20 in the STPL rankings. And he's only got a 50% win rate against Terran, but he's got a 64% win rate overall. And let's see how he's going to do, because his opponent is the Viking Terran himself. It's Medinho. Medinho in the top 15, taking STPL rank 13 at the moment. He is currently 57% win rate over Terran, and he just beat, in the BSL this weekend, Dandy and Terra. An absolute monster of TVT, and this is going to be a very, very tough matchup for Hit 'em Up here. But it's going to be on Hitchhiker. TVT on Hitchhiker is amazing. Let's get going. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the blue Terran fighting from Canada for aSh. Let's Hit 'em Up. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, it's Medinho, the Viking Terran himself, fighting for ReV in the red. Now, one thing that Medinho was saying to me in the BSL chat is I'm never focused on the game. So, I'm going to prove him wrong and show him it's actually him who's not focused. I'm going to talk entirely about the game, nothing else. It's going to be a TVT, it's going to be astounding, and I'm only going to talk about the game. Oh my god, Logan's been playing only Hearthstone the last 2 months. Well, I don't know if this is mind games, maybe trying to throw each other off the scent, but Medinho did just come into this off the back of those 2 amazing BSL wins in the BSL Advance. Medinho saying it means it's better today. Okay, so we've got a Racks into Gas on 12 coming up from Medinho. We've got the same build coming up here for Hit 'em Up, although Hit 'em Up got his barracks a little bit earlier. Now Medinho in this game is kind of throwing shade Because he can say he can take a break and come back and be better. I take a break and I just forget how to play the game. So, Medinho, if you're here, if you're watching this, I'm not happy with you. Stop gloating, man. You're too good. We're gonna have Hit 'em Up and Medinho scouting each other. Not really too much that either player is gonna see that's gonna surprise them. Everything looks perfectly normal. They're doing more, or they're doing basically similar builds. Despite getting a lead at barracks, Medinho gets an earlier factory because Hit 'em Up's SUV got a little bit confused. We'll just have to see where this is going to take us. Like, TBT, my favorite matchup by far. We've got two Marines. Well, two Marines were planning on going across the map, but he knows he's going to be up against three, so he's going to turn around. It's going to be two Marines for Medinho, so he does technically have a 50 mineral advantage. Going into the later game allows you to get a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker of a command center when you want to expand. Now, the one defining feature of this map, we've seen it as we've gone along, but essentially there is this massive, massive chasm through the middle of the map. It's very tight. It makes it very hard to push in TBT, so if TBT doesn't end super fast, the game goes on for a very long time on this map. So I'm hoping I have enough water to last me in an hour and a half long TBT, but let's see how this goes. We had Medinho going for a starport, most likely going to go for a dropship here, but Hit 'em Up is going for a starport as well, so looks like the longboat Terran is not going to be able to get away with it, but the command center actually going up hidden above the natural expansion here. Now, this does give him a chance of hiding this base, maybe take the mineral only if he needs to. Once he scouts what's going on, he'll be able to make that decision. We do not have mines. It's actually two vultures against one because the machine shop came up a little bit quicker, but mines will be quicker, of course. Barracks passing like two ships in the night over this snowy chasm. Now, Medinho, as this game goes on, will have a little bit of an advantage just because he does have an expansion command center coming up. Looks like Hit 'em Up wants to push through the middle of the map. We do have a control tower coming in from Hit 'em Up. We do have a control tower coming in from Medinho. Now, it is going to be Wraith from Medinho, at least first of all. Now, this map is very good for elevator plays, which it looks like what Hit 'em Up wants to do. But Medinho is going for a Wraith. This will snipe the dropship, make it very difficult to make this work. Now, Medinho did switch back into tanks a little bit quicker than his opponent. Looks like Hit 'em Up is going to continue building vultures for the time being, going to expand. But the command center is only just now finished. And Medinho's command center is finished now. Now, Medinho is actually not going to go for the gas base. He's going to go for the mineral only. And that's weird. My preview is frozen as well. That's kind of strange. Hopefully the stream is up. Looks like Albert's saying the stream is up for him. Vodiad, maybe refresh your stream if you can. Oh, you can't hear me, but someone tell him to refresh. That'll fix it. Thanks, C45. Okay, Engineering Bay coming in for Hit 'em Up here. Armory coming in as well. It is going to be Cloak Race. Now, Medinho, Hit 'em Up has scouted this. He is going to have some form of defense against this. Now, the dropship is actually going in with nothing in over here. Looks like he did drop 4 vultures off. They're not going to be able to do too much. Going to lay some mines, which will stop the tank coming back to defend. But the 2 of the race getting into the natural of his opponent. Medinho is going to be in such a good position after all this. Yeah, there we go. GG. Hit 'em Up doesn't have any form of detection. Gives up before it gets going. And Medinho is going to take a quick 2-0 lead here for ReV. Now, of course, that is a little bit unfortunate here for aSh going 2-0 down at the start for against ReV. But when you look at ReV's roster, their roster is very front-loaded this week. They have their 2 best players in the first 2 positions. So if aSh are going to come back, they have a possibility to do it. Now, we do have a PvP coming up and then a ZVZ, so we could have 2 relatively quick games. And you never know, there is still the possibility of going to the ace match, but aSh, they're going to have to do something if they want to stay